Right now, you think you are choosing to read these words. You feel like a conscious agent, a pilot sitting in the cockpit of your skull, pulling levers and making executive decisions. But what if I told you that the you identify with is actually the last person to know what's going on? What if your brain is a sophisticated biological puppet master that makes decisions seconds before you even realize you've had a thought? We like to believe in the sanctity of free will, but modern neuroscience is beginning to paint a much more haunting picture. We aren't the pilots, we are the passengers, strapped into a high-speed vehicle with a blackout windshield, convinced we're steering because we happen to be holding a plastic toy wheel. This isn't just a philosophical debate. It's a biological reality that dictates everything from why you can't resist that midnight snack to why you fall in love with the wrong people. The illusion of control begins with the sheer physics of your perception. Your brain lives in total darkness, encased in a bone vault, receiving nothing but electrical impulses. To make sense of the world, it doesn't show you reality. It shows you a simulation. Think about your vision. You have two massive blind spots where your optic nerves attach to your retinas. You should see two black voids in your field of vision at all times, yet you don't. Your brain looks at the patterns around the holes and photoshops the image in real time, inventing data to give you a seamless experience. It lies to you for your own convenience. This filling in happens with every sense you have. Your brain is constantly predicting the future, and when the world doesn't match its prediction, it often ignores the world and sticks to its own script. You aren't seeing the world, you're seeing your brain's best guess of what the world should look like. But the rabbit hole goes much deeper than just visual tricks. Let's talk about the decision gap. In the 1980s, a researcher named Benjamin Libet conducted an experiment that sent shockwaves through the scientific community. He asked participants to flick their wrists whenever they felt the urge, while he monitored their brain activity. What he found was chilling. The brain showed a surge of electrical activity, a readiness potential, nearly half a second before the participant reported having the conscious intention to move. More recent studies using fMRI have pushed this even further, allowing scientists to predict which button a person will press with 60% to 70% accuracy up to 10 full seconds before the person thinks they've made a choice. Your subconscious has already signed the contract, and your conscious mind is just the intern who gets sent to deliver the mail. We are essentially living in the past, experiencing the echoes of decisions that have already been finalized in the deep, dark basement of our neural architecture. Why would evolution design us this way? Because consciousness is slow, clunky, and incredibly expensive in terms of energy. If you had to consciously calculate the trajectory of a falling glass, or the precise muscle tension needed to avoid a trip, you'd be dead before you could blink. To survive, the brain offloads 95% of its operations to the automatic systems: the basal ganglia, the cerebellum, and the brainstem. These are the ancient parts of our hardware, refined over millions of years of predator-prey loops. They handle your habits, your breathing, and your survival instincts. The problem is that these ancient systems don't care about your long-term goals, your happiness, or your diet. They care about sugar, safety, and sex. When you find yourself doom-scrolling on your phone for 3 hours, despite promising yourself you'd work, that isn't a failure of character. It's your ancient dopamine circuitry hijacking your prefrontal cortex. Your brain has identified a low-effort, high-reward stimulus and has effectively locked you out of the controls. This brings us to the concept of confabulation, perhaps the most ego-bruising trick the brain plays on us. Our left hemisphere is a master storyteller. When we do something for a subconscious reason, say choosing a specific product because of a subtle color cue, or acting out of a hidden trauma, our conscious mind doesn't like to admit it doesn't know why, so it invents a logical reason. In famous split brain studies, researchers would give a command to the right side of the brain, the non-verbal side, like, go to the water cooler. The person would stand up and start walking. When the left side, the verbal side, was asked why they were walking, it wouldn't say, I don't know. It would instantly make up a lie. Oh, I just felt a bit thirsty. We do this every single day. We make emotional, irrational, or purely biological choices, and then we spend the rest of the day rationalizing them to ourselves and others. We are not rational animals. We are rationalizing animals. We are the press secretaries for a king who never tells us his true motives. Consider your emotions. We think of them as reactions to the world, but they are often just the brain's interpretation of internal bodily states. This is known as the theory of constructed emotion. If your heart is racing because you're tired or had too much caffeine, and someone walks into the room, your brain might interpret that physiological arousal as anger or attraction based on the context. It labels the physical sensation to give you a narrative. You aren't feeling the world, you are feeling your brain's commentary on your own internal chemistry. This is why you can't will yourself out of a bad mood. You can't fight the chemistry with logic, because the logic is built on top of the chemistry. So, if we are being steered by ancient hardware, subconscious predictions, and fabricated narratives, is there any room for thus? The secret lies in a concept called veto power, or free won't. While we might not be able to stop the brain from generating an impulse or a craving, we have a very slim window, a few hundred milliseconds, where the conscious mind can say no. This is the essence of human discipline. We can't stop the readiness potential from firing, but we can train our prefrontal cortex to act as a filter. This is also where neuroplasticity comes in. Every time you consciously override an automatic impulse, you are physically weakening that old neural highway and paving a new one. You aren't the driver. You can't control where the car goes today, but you can change the roads it will take tomorrow. Understanding that your brain is controlling you more than you think shouldn't be terrifying, it should be liberating. It means that your failures aren't always you, they are often just glitches in outdated software. It means that willpower isn't a moral virtue, but a biological resource that needs to be managed. By learning the hidden mechanics of your own mind, you stop fighting against your biology and start working with it. You move from being a victim of your impulses to a curator of your habits. The ghost in the machine is real, and it's been running the show for a long time. It's time you finally met the person who's actually in charge.